Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be talking about the rise of lonely single men and the rise of sexless men. But instead of just me talking about it, since I've already covered this pretty in-depth on my channel, I wanted to bring other girls on and get their opinion, what they think's going on, if they think women play any type of role in this. So I'm sitting down with 7 girls today and we're going to be talking all about it. Let's get into it. So studies are showing that there's a decrease in men having sex. So a third of men under the age of 30 are sexless, and there's also a rise in lonely single men. If you had to guess, why do you think this is the case?
I think dating is a lot different than it was back then, especially with social media and everything that's going on. I think men also these days too are sometimes more afraid to talk to women than they used to, I guess. But I don't know. I was just talking to a friend about this. I think just dating in general has completely shifted. It's harder now. It's a lot harder to have genuine connections or even people you want to hook up with, like with Tinder and Bumble and all that stuff. So that would be my answer.
I really think it's because women stopped caring about douchebags. I know that's not the best word to use, but guys that don't put in effort and don't care and don't want to actually value women for who they are gonna be lonely, because women are becoming a lot more independent and they're becoming a lot more confident in being themselves, that they don't need no man. So I find that rise probably comes from those guys that don't want to put in that extra effort and actually put their pride aside and make a woman feel loved.
I feel like a lot of it might have to do with maybe like working remote, since we're all so I feel like I'm at home a lot more than like I ever was before, and like since I work remote personally, like not going out and meeting as many people like through like work friends or like going out as much, I feel like people just aren't interacting as much as like they used to be on the day-to-day, like physically. People are just like messaging on Snapchat and Instagram.
So less like in-person human interaction, and everything's kind of moving towards being online.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then I also feel like women are just being more selective over like how they want to be treated, and how like with social media, I feel like it's so easy to compare like what other relationships, like what they're doing, like what kind of experiences like a couple's going through, like, oh, they're on this nice like luxurious vacation, and like this man doesn't want to like take me on that, so like screw him or something in a way.
So first and foremost, I would say pornography has something to do with it, just because it's so easily accessible that men don't really have to like put in the effort to go out and seek a mate when they can just like do it at the comfort of their space. I would say another reason is just the work and personal life balance. People are obviously too ambitious now, which is a great thing, but to like keep up with the economy and the demanding lifestyle, it's kind of hard to maintain a nice work and personal life balance, and men don't really see the worth in going out to find a potential mate. They would just rather spend that energy on working towards their goals and ambitions. So just like a busy working life.
Incels? Reddit? 4chan? I think it's largely a them problem, would be my guess.
I don't know. I feel like post-pandemic, people don't like interact with each other as much. This is kind of off topic, but like when I used to walk down the street, I always be like, oh my God, you're so pretty, or like hello to people, and just like talk to people. And I feel like now that's not really happening. I think people are more drawn into themselves, and I don't know why it's still like that. I think the internet too, obviously there's a community for this. I feel like people are kind of getting more hateful. I don't know. It's just things are changing. I think people need to open up more. If it's a choice, that's fine. I don't think everyone needs to have a super high sex drive. I personally don't have a super high sex drive, so if someone's not super sexually active, does not matter to me at all. But it's hard. Is it by choice? Is that what we're speaking of, or just?
So I think a lot of it is by choice. I can just give you some other reasons why. Social media definitely is one of them, I think. Porn, I think, is also one of them. Young marriage on the decline. People are waiting until they're a little bit older to get married. Also, what you said about interacting with people on the street, I think a lot of men are becoming hesitant and scared to approach women just in general. You see all these videos online of women posting when men say hi to them and they're repulsed by it, or they get really upset. Like at the gym, if a guy approaches a girl at the gym, they get really upset. So I think there's a lot of things that are tying into this, but it's interesting to hear, like, from someone on the outside that isn't so like doing this for work, like why you would think that this is happening.
I feel like the internet also gives people unattainable ideas. And I wonder if these statistics are coming out just because more people are saying that they are not sexually active because of the internet. Like, I wonder if it's always been like this, but now people are really banding together and being like, yeah. Obviously, we're living in a time as well where you don't have to get married and have kids by the time you're 24. So that's off. Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Well, I think there's a rise in celibacy among women that I've noticed on social media. So I think that would relate to why more men are going sexless. And then also people are just becoming more comfortable with being alone, probably because of the pandemic, which isn't a bad thing. But I mean, human connection is also a good thing. In terms of loneliness, I don't know, maybe we're just like missing that connection that there once was, and there's so many more higher standards now for men and women and just relationships in general. And I think the factors just go like back and forth. So maybe a woman like has not been happy with how she's been treated, or doesn't feel empowered by hookup culture, so then she just becomes celibate. So then the man or men are experiencing like less sex in their lives, and then I don't know, it just keeps going like back and forth on the effect of one another.
Do you think that it's all men to blame, or do you think that women play a role in this as well? I mean, because there are a lot of single women too.
Yeah. I don't think it's all men to blame. I just think people are not as good with interacting with each other these days, and they'll go on Tinder or something, to look for a hookup, but that's so much different and harder to connect with people than like back when you would just meet someone, which I'm not saying you have to just go meet someone on the street, especially because now with the media and stuff, you're scared to meet people in person, like just some guy next to you. You don't want to go home with them because they could be a serial killer and this and that. But yeah, I just think as a society and collective, like, we're not as open to each other anymore, so it is harder to date probably right now. If a guy is sexless, though, I don't feel like they should feel bad about it. I think that pressure also really kills things in the mood for guys, like when you're so worried about it and feeling maybe emasculated or something like that. That can be really tough, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think a woman, kind of like myself, that is independent, hardworking, and knows what she wants, not necessarily plays a game, but keeps her options open and wants to find somebody that truly values her. So I definitely think women do play a factor in it because they could be on some games.
Oh, I feel like it really is your preference. Like if a height's a total deal breaker, then and you're not going to be comfortable like with somebody that's shorter than you, then you shouldn't go after that, you know. But I think like it definitely is valid for whatever is like holding someone back from being in a relationship with somebody. I think it's definitely like valid reasons.
Personally, I would say women have lower standards than if you would go back in time and look at how high the expectations were from men to provide for women and take care of women. I feel like feminism has brought women to a point where they're able to take care of themselves. So maybe it has something to do with women being self-sufficient and not needing a man in their life to provide for them, and therefore not having the need to have sexual relationships with men. So I think it's definitely just our progressive society and not having the need to rely on men for anything.
Yeah, I think there's unrealistic standards going around, and I think it's partially because of social media, and it's so easy to get caught up on social media when really, like, who knows what percent of actual social media is real. Like, you could see someone that you know or someone that you don't even know, you just follow on social media, you know, her man that she's with flies her out, buys her this gift, but maybe he bought her that gift because she got him cheating. Like, you just really can't compare, but it's really hard not to compare, not to focus in on somebody else's life or social media and compare it to your own.
Yeah, I'm probably. I mean, there's probably something that women as a whole, not everybody, but generally do that is discouraging for certain people.
Yes, you said men are like more afraid to approach women. Obviously, men play a role in that, but do you think women play a role in the kind of issues that are arising with dating as well?
Yes, but see, I was raised, my parents have like, you know, always said, you know, you should let the men approach you, or the men should make the first move. And that's just how I was kind of raised. And I know a lot of people, I'm not saying that's for everybody, because a lot of times girls make the first move, and I'm like, that's freaking awesome. But just for me personally, it's not comfortable for me. So yeah, I hope that answered.
But do you think like a lot of women will get mad when men approach them? They're like, I don't want to be approached. Like that kind of phenomenon, like men are genuinely afraid because of what women like post online about them. Like,
yes, I think that's a huge thing. That's a very big thing. I've actually even, some of my guy friends have been afraid to approach ladies because of that situation, because they're afraid that women are going to label them as a pig or something like that. I find it flattering if a man approaches me, and just the fact that he had the confidence to do so. So, but yeah.
What do you think that men can do to make themselves a better candidate in the dating market?
I think being respectful is the biggest thing. For myself, I'm just a young woman in her early 20s, so a lot of the guys that are in my dating pool don't even know how to, you know, make a woman feel special, like it's just for them. I see them turning their heads when we're walking on a date together, and that just makes me feel like they're looking for options and things of that nature. So I think if a guy was trying to impress a woman or, you know, change certain habits about himself, making a woman feel heard and respected about whatever the topic may be goes a very long way.
I would say the first step is to stop feeling sorry for yourself, because just like you're not attracted to everybody, not everyone's going to be attracted to you. That's just human nature. I guess it's different for everyone. I don't know who these sexless men are, but for a lot of them, it could just be as simple as, I don't know, work harder on yourself, or where are the pieces that you're missing. And if you're insecure about not having the best job, why don't you look into changing careers? Or if you're insecure about how you look, go to the gym. I don't know. Or just love yourself. I'm sure. I don't know how to do that. I don't know. It's not easy to fight insecurities, but therapy.
Stop going to the bars every weekend, Friday to Sunday. It's unattractive when you're wasted with your buddies. And in this day and age, everybody thinks, the boys, let's get drunk, Sunday beers, Saturday beers. It's so not cute. So I don't know. Of course, going out is nice, but to be sitting in a bar all day, every day is just, it's a no-go for me. So
have confidence, which is easier said than done, obviously. I think when you're looking for someone, like you're looking for a relationship, you're probably not going to end up in a great one. I think if you're just like, I need love, I need this, I need that, you're not going to end up happy. It has to start here. But obviously everyone wants to be with someone, so going for people that it actually makes sense, the combination, and not just being like, I think people overlook people because they're like, well, I want a girl that looks like that though, and maybe that's not going to be your thing at the moment. So just not putting too much pressure on yourself and going, I don't know, I feel like it's not a bad thing to not be in a relationship or sleeping with people at all times. I think it can be a really good thing. So the obsession with that I don't know, I think it just hurts people.
Yeah, I think it puts a lot of pressure on guys too. And then when you hear things come out like the rise of lonely men, well, just because someone's single doesn't mean they're lonely, but it's automatically kind of assumed that they are.
I would say just pick up on like the way that she's communicating with you. Like if you're reaching out to a girl and she's constantly like busy, or she's not putting in like any effort into meeting up with you, like don't spend so much time like pursuing that girl and start looking in other areas, because I feel like sometimes people have a tough time like picking up on those mixed signals, maybe through like text message. Like if it's mixed signals, I feel like that's all you need to know to just like move past that. Like if it's not easy and not great, like now I sound like I'm like saying like, oh, like she needs to be easy. Like that's not what I mean. Like I feel like if
So you're basically saying like don't chase women that don't want you back.
You need to like put in effort, like definitely put in some type of effort and show that you care. But like if you're completely getting like oh, I can't tonight, like maybe like next week or something, like over and over again, to the point where you're just putting in all your like time into one, I don't know how to put this.
Like knowing when to walk away, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Like knowing when to walk away and like not putting so much time into somebody who doesn't seem that interested in you. You know, maybe it's time to explore other avenues.
Yeah, I think a man not seeming too desperate or too clingy is a big thing. So like women always think they can change a man, but I think a man always thinks he can change a woman's mind. Like if she's giving you a lot of the signs that maybe she's not too interested, like just take the signs for as what they are. Or even if she's saying like, I don't feel romantic connection, but I'd like to still be friends, don't continue to be like, okay, yeah, I'll just be friends with you in hopes that she'll change her mind. You know, focus your energy on where it's best spent. Like, don't waste your time on women who don't fit your standards or aren't really the type you see yourself in a long-term relationship with. Spend that energy and time going for what you do want, and don't waste your time when you've been given the signal that she doesn't want you.
What are traits that you look for specifically in a man? Like, what is your checklist?
I have a whole document. I like that, first of all, with looks, I like that like Italian Greek look, where they're like tan, have like dark hair, dark eyes. But you know, a lot of times with that look, when they're really good looking, they're not that great people. So I want someone who's a really good person, very loyal and honest and hardworking, but not too cocky, and someone who has one of those hobbies that's like hands-on. wants.
Monique knows what she wants. Okay. Would you be willing to compromise on the Italian Greek beautiful look for the other things?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like all of my ex-boyfriends are not people that physically I would describe as my type.
Okay, but you liked other things about them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't just go out with them because they were willing to go out with me.
Traits that I look for in a guy. Honesty's a big one. Smart, intelligent, funny. He's got to be funny. He's got to be easygoing. I like to mess around a lot. So smart, funny, creative, for sure. Honest. We'll start there.
I would say definitely a good, like, stable job. It doesn't have to be anything like crazy, like even if you are just, as long as you're doing something and you have like a good work ethic and you're working towards something, like I don't expect someone to be like the VP of a company or something, but as long as you're working towards something, I think that that's very important to me. Being able to have like passions and hobbies, like things outside of what you do every day at work, is very important. Like being able to have fun, like go out with me, like go to concerts, like you want to do things, like try new restaurants, like you're not like so much a homebody. I don't like sitting at home. I like being out, so that's important.
For me, I look for good communication skills. I think communication is everything in a relationship. I also, friendship is more important to me than romance at the end of the day, because you can have passion and you can have a great sex life or whatever, but if we're fighting and we're not aligning mentally, I mean, you can find passion and good sex from a ton of people, but I think friendship and just really getting along here is the most important thing, because that's rare. So that's what I look for: style, humor, getting along with my friends, being friendly, great manners, obviously. But yeah, I think the mental is really what matters to me the most.
I'm looking for a hardworking guy that's honest, loves his mom, really just takes care of himself, and has a little bit of like a boundary. You know, I like to get my way. I don't really like to be told no. I mean, what girl does? But stands up for himself and has his own boundaries and his own standards that matter to him. I think that's super attractive for myself.
I've thought about this a lot, so I have a very specific list. Values like health and wellness, is a life learner, has a life learner mentality, so likes to learn new things and experience new things, but also likes like a daily routine to keep them in check. So whether it's like working out, the gym, spending time with family, friends, loyalty. I feel like that's a bare minimum thing, but it needs said these days. I don't know. I think the life learner mentality is the biggest thing, because that kind of like creeps into all aspects of life, like career, hobbies, skills, ambition.
I'm a very personality-driven person, so empathy is very big for me, and self-awareness and social awareness and emotional intelligence are some things that I actively look out for while seeking a potential partner. But if you're all those things and you're ambitious and driven, then you're at a really good point in your life, and then I can like put in that trust within you to be able to achieve your dreams and goals. So it doesn't really matter where you are in life right now, like financially and professionally for me. What matters more is you have the drive to strive for more and be able to grow together.
Do you think that sometimes women have unrealistic standards for men?
Yeah, I'm sure, definitely. Like there's probably some sort of like standard that women will have in their heads about how they want to be treated and stuff, and that might not always be realistic. But I definitely think it's a good thing, like it's beneficial that the standards are higher, and like women aren't willing to settle, I guess.
Yeah, I think people always look baseline for looks, like you want to be attracted to someone. I have found being friends with someone first and then dating them has ended up in the best relationship I've ever been in, rather than just being like, oh, that person's hot. And then you ask all the other questions like, well, do we align morally, this, that, and you kind of find that out as you go. And I think the best way to go is really getting to know someone first. Obviously, you have to be attracted to them, but I feel like people see pictures or they'll watch TikToks and, I don't know, see beautiful people and be like, I want that. I feel like also social media has kind of romanticized fighting with your partner, which, I don't know. Some of the things I see, I'm like, why are you together? I think people have an idea of what a relationship should look like. And everyone's different. You have to feel it out yourself.
I agree. I think women are definitely unrealistic because everybody makes mistakes and people will say dumb things. If you get to really know a person and know their true core values and what they stand for, and you're trying to build that firm relationship, little petty things that might matter at the beginning, long term may not really affect that. But being an unrealistic woman will absolutely, one, take away your opportunities, and two, just kind of close yourself off as a category. You know, you could be a bitch, you could be unrealistic, you could be sassy, unavailable, whatever the case may be, and I think you could set yourself up for failure.
Yeah, and I think it's also totally okay as a woman to have standards for
Yeah.
men,
Oh, yeah.
but you better be holding yourself to those standards too.
Right.
Right?
Right. And I think that's the biggest thing sometimes that women forget is, okay, well, you want this guy to be XYZ and do all of these things for you and treat you this certain way, but it's like you won't even text him back. So what's the real true playing field here? I think it definitely goes both ways.
I would say in today's time, women definitely have the ability to stay single for as long as they want, because it's obviously socially more acceptable to be that way. So I would say women definitely would be single for as long as they want until they find the right mate.
It's becoming more popular now to go after, to really vocalize going after someone who is really wealthy, really good looking, and is willing to treat you well. And I don't think that's necessarily a problem, but I think there's certainly a number of men who aren't willing to treat you as well and maybe don't look as good as, you know, Zac Efron, and maybe don't have as much money, and instead of working towards that or trying to find someone that doesn't feel that way, they lead to bashing women.
I think women set expectations way too high. Like a lot of the girls, he's got to be, you know, a boss at his job, he's got to be making this type of money, he's got to be driving this type of car. I hear so many women these days saying they have to marry rich, and it's just so sad because, you know, all of that money, the fame, whatever, that goes away. It's like, what's in here? And women putting these standards on men, it makes them feel less confident to go out and start dating and doing those things. So I don't know. I just, like, again, for me personally, it's not about the money. You have to be hardworking. You have to be motivated. But, you know, it's a journey. Life is a process, you know. So that's my answer.
And then what do you think men are looking for in women?
I think it all comes down to just like looking for that connection. So I don't know, I've like read and heard things that like men want to feel wanted or needed, nurtured in a way. Like, I don't know, I feel like most men are just like big babies. Like, it's not as deep as we think it is. So they just want to feel like that connection with a woman and feel cared for, but maybe they get that feeling in different ways than women get from men.
A big one would be confidence, because a lot of women nowadays are insecure. So when they get in a relationship and a guy even says hi to another female, they freak out. Or I know a lot of females stalk their significant others' social medias. But if you're confident in your women, you should know what you bring to the table, what you offer. And if he's not appreciating that, then he's not the one for you. So I think confidence is big. I think just respect is another huge one, because a lot of girls nowadays at the clubs, man, they're crazy. So a woman with, confidence, good respect, good morals, good upbringing, I think those things are very important. I would hope that's what men are looking for.
Men are looking for it's different for every guy, but I would hope that they're just looking for, what women are looking for, like someone to hang out with, someone to get to know, someone to experience things with, and just like grow a relationship with.
For guys, I think that they want someone they can hang out with. Obviously, sex usually for men is a huge thing. Being chill, I think guys don't like confrontation and fights, obviously. I don't either. I know some people do, but being easygoing, I don't think guys like pressure also from girls. Like, I think guys really want to be the one kind of leading the whole relationship. So if a girl's giving too much, they get scared off at first. So yeah, I think that's a big one as well. I think eagerness kind of turns guys off.
I feel like men are really hard on women these days, just because we're expected to be all these things and wear all these different hats. We're expected to be these boss ladies, but also feminine, also really good in the kitchen, really good in the bed. So there are a lot of expectations on women from men to fulfill the role of the wifey material.
It depends what kind of man, but I think the person who I would look for probably wants a woman that has her own success. And I think a lot of men want a woman who takes care of herself, whether that's physically or mentally or really both, and feels like they have a purpose and isn't too dependent on a man.
Kind of the same thing. I mean, it's different. Back in the 50s, it was you stay at home, you take care of the kids, and that's what you do. And now they want independent, hardworking women. So I think a lot of guys just want a down-to-earth girl that doesn't really play games, is not out there talking to 10, 15, 20 different guys, and knows what she's looking for and doesn't have to go to the bars every single weekend just to feel better.
Alright guys, that is all I have for this video. If you like this style of video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.